Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Dear listeners, today we are talking about the environmental biotechnology and energy production. In specific, today we will discuss about the biogas production, and in specific, we will talk about how the methane, which is one of the important biogas, and how it is being produced and how it is being produced domestically as well as commercially. So this has been an emerging technology in Pakistan. My name is Dr. Muhammad Israr Khan, and I have been serving as an assistant professor at the Department of Botanical and Environmental Sciences, Kohat University of Science and Technology. As far as the biogas is concerned, usually when methane is produced by the fermentation of animal dung, the gaseous products are usually referred as biogas, and the installations are usually called as the biogas plant, or usually we also call it the bioreactor. So methane, as it is one of the important biogas, so it has been produced through the procedure of fermentation of animal dung, and it has been produced in a specific equipment that we call usually as the biogas plant or bioreactor. So biogas it's a flammable mixture of different gases that constitute almost about 50 to 80% of methane, while 15 to 45% of the biogas consists of that of carbon dioxide, while the 5% is that of water and some other trace gases. So as a whole, the biogas is comprised of all these gases, where methane constitute one of the major portion. As far as the production of biogas is concerned, we will discuss in our next slides. However, I want to mention over here that biogas is being produced as a result of using the animal dung, as I have shown over here in the figure. So the animal dungs are usually has been utilized, and the fermentation of the animal dung, the fresh animal dung, has been utilized to produce the biogas, and in specific the methane production. So now we will talk about how the biogas is produced. And what is how the biogas is used, means what are the utilization after production of the biogas, in specific the methane. So biogas, and in specific the methane, can be burned in boilers as a natural gas. So it has been utilized to warm the water that will be used domestically. Similarly, the methane can be burned with the purpose of electric and heat power production. So methane, other than it has been considered as one of the important greenhouse gas. So methane, which has been produced domestically or commercially, will be used for the purpose of generation of electricity and generation of heat that will be utilized for power production. So additionally, biogas after treatment can be used as fuel for vehicles. So as you can see in the diagram, the biogas, and in specific methane, has various utilization and functions. It can be utilized as a natural gas for the vehicles, and it can be used domestically for burning processes, for heating, and it can be used as a burned as a boiler as a natural gas. So this is all about how the biogas, and specifically methane, will be utilized domestically or commercially. So as far as the animals and the cows and the methane production are concerned, there is a very deep correlation between animals cow dung and methane production, and this is because of the methanogens. So what are methanogens? These are archean microorganisms actually that produce methane as a metabolic byproduct in anaerobic conditions. So methane as a biogas has been usually considered to be produced anaerobically by this specific type of bacteria, which you usually called as methanogens. So these methanogens are usually found uh, in the rumen or in the rumen of the animals, and specifically in the cows. We can see over here the methanogens are present in the rumen. So when we get enough amount of fresh dungs, that will be utilized as a source of production of methane, which we will discuss in very detail in our next slide. However, one thing I want to explain over here, that all the ruminants, means the animals that are having rumen in their stomachs, so these are having methanogen bacteria, are the archaean microorganisms, so that have been involved with the production of methane, and it's released to the atmosphere later. So as far as the anaerobic conditions are concerned, methanogens usually work under anaerobic condition, means in the absence of oxygen, which has been usually facilitated by the rumen present inside the cow stomach. So anaerobic conditions are the conditions where the methanogens may be found, include like the wetlands, that includes the swamps and marshy places. So swamps and marshes are certain places that have been utilized and well known for the wetlands. So these are some of the specific areas where methanogens can well flourish and can work actively under anaerobic conditions, means in the absence of oxygen. Similarly, the marine sediments, like in the mud of lake beds, which also facilitate the methanogens, are the archaean microorganism specifically to work actively in the production of methane. The most important over here, which we are highly concerned as far as the current topic, the digestive tract of ruminant animals, for example, in cows, sheep, and goats, etc. So this digestive tract of ruminant have a rumen where the methanogens are present in abundant or in excess. So these methanogens in a specific mechanisms have been involved in the production of methane, which could be utilized as a biofuel, and also we call it as a biogas in this context. So this is why we relate the animals and methane production, and how the fresh animal dung we can utilize as a source for methane production both domestically and commercially. We will discuss about the exact mechanism how we can produce the biogas, and in specific the methane from that of the fresh cow dungs in our next slide, and what is the mechanism and how it will be produced, we will discuss in very detail in our next slides. So this is all about how the biogas is produced, and what is the mechanism and what is the definition. Biogas is usually produced by the biomethanation, as we just discussed, as a result of the activity of methanogens are archaean microorganisms. So biogas is produced by the methanation, by which organic material is microbiologically converted under anaerobic condition and at temperature around 30 degrees centigrade to biogases, and the byproduct in specific will be the methane as a biogas. So these are some of the restrictions to perform these biochemical reactions, where the methanogens microbiologically convert this organic material. Usually here we will talk about the cow dungs. So the specific or restricted conditions are the temperature, which will be around 30 degrees centigrade, just above the room temperature, and the anaerobic condition means the absence of oxygen is must to carry out this relevant reaction by biological process. So it will be carried out by the methanogenic bacteria or archaean microorganisms, and it will all be concerned with the production of methane as a biogas. So what are the complex organic matter? The complex organic matter includes the carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids, that are usually present in the diet, and has been excreted as dung, here in particular in the fresh cow dung. So first it will be subjected to hydrolysis reaction, which will further convert this complex organic matter into soluble organic molecules that will further include the sugar, amino acids, and fatty acids, which are the building blocks of this complex organic matter. Like sugar has been coming from that of the carbohydrates, and amino acids which are coming with the decomposition of this organic matter, the proteins, while the fatty acids are the soluble organic molecules that have been coming as a result of hydrolysis of that of lipids. And after the soluble organic molecules, once we get, it will be subjected to acidogenesis, and acidogenesis has been further divided into two reactions. For example, one is going towards the acetic acid formation, and another one is to formation or the synthesis of hydrogen, carbon dioxide, ammonium, and sulfur as well. While acidogenesis also result into production of volatile fatty acids that will further result into acetogenesis. So the acetic acids and the hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and ammonia are interconvertible, and this reaction is called as acetogenesis. So now it is the function of methanogen which has been involved as a result of biomethanation to proceed microbiologically conversion of biogas production. So this methanogen, this particular reaction is called as methanogenesis, where methane has been involved in conversion of complex organic molecules to the final products that we need over here is methane and carbon dioxide. So usually the methane uses the two-step or the two pathways, either by using this acetic acid as a precursor or as a substrate, or these methanogens through the reaction of methanogens, it will either utilize the hydrogen, carbon dioxide, ammonium, and sulfur as a substrate. So these are the two separate pathways through which methanogenesis will occur, and finally will give us methane as a biogas, methane and carbon dioxide as a biogas, which we utilize as a source of energy for various functions. So in this diagram, we can see how the biogas is produced domestically. Means we can domestically produce the biogas, and in specific methane that will be utilized for various purposes domestically. And I will talk about the advantages of how we can utilize the how we can produce the biogas, and in specific the methane domestically, and what will be the advantages of production of methane domestically, and we will discuss in our next slide somewhere else. So in this diagram, we can see over here we have a large tank in which the fresh dung and dung of cows will be added as a slurry, which means that water will be added into the fresh cow dungs, and we will prepare a kind of slurry that will be soluble completely. And in addition, the vegetable waste that have been usually taken from the after the domestic use, so that will be all added into this tank, and this tank is further connected with this pipe, uh, and the final methane we can collect over here, and this has been further connected with the burning stove, where we can utilize the stored methane gas that we produce domestically with from that of the fresh cow dung and vegetable waste. So the mechanism we will discuss in our next slide. However, here a simple procedure can be applied, so that we first make a slurry of that of the fresh cow dung by adding water and then the vegetable waste inside the tank, and put it for 1 month, and the methane will be produced as a result of the methanogenic bacteria, which are highly present in the fresh cow dung or cow manure. So this is how exactly the biogas production overview commercially. In this diagram, we can see over here this biogas plant, we can say, consists of three major tanks. One is over here, and where the slurry of cattle dung and water has been added, and this is, we usually call it a mixing tank. And here is an inlet through which, after mixing this and synthesis and formation of the slurry of the cattle dung, by mixing it with water, it will be added into the floating gas holder type biogas plant. So here the biogas will be produced, and the mechanism, which we will discuss in our next slide, the whole mechanism will be occurring over here. And after that, we have the outlet for the biogas. So once the biogas has been started to produce it, we will get the biogas for our domestic utilization or commercial utilization from over here. While this is an outlet tank or the overflow tank. So what happens after using that slurry of cattle dung, which we mixed with water in the mixing tank, that we will be getting over here, because after utilization for the production of biogas and in specific methane, we will change this cattle dung, and we will get it from the outlet tank. So this is a simple representation of the biogas production plant and how it works. It has been shown over here. So biogas plant in actual is uh, following the mechanism of anaerobic digestion, because it has been a digestion of large complex organic molecules into simple soluble molecules, and that will be further subjected to methanogenesis, where methanogens will be involved by either using the acetic acid as a substrate to produce methane, or it will be utilizing the hydrogen and carbon dioxide as a substrate to produce methane. That is which is our uh, ultimate target. So anaerobic digestion is where the oxygen availability is zero, means the methanogen best work under in the absence of oxygen. So that's why we usually call it the anaerobic digestion. So anaerobic digestion is usually accomplished in three stages. The first one is the solubilization, as I discussed in the previous slide, where the complex organic matter will be converted into soluble organic molecules. And the second one is the acidogenesis, in which the acetic compounds are produced from that of the soluble organic molecules. And the third one is the methanogenesis, where methanogens are the archaeal microorganisms, which are the main players of methane production. So they will utilize either the acetic acid or hydrogen and carbon dioxide as a substrate. So by utilizing two pathways, this methanogenesis will be involved in the production of methane as a biogas. So what happened in stage first? In stage first, the larger complex organic molecules that are usually the fats, cellulose, and proteins, so these are first converted into soluble compounds, as I just discussed in the previous slide. And there some acidic bacteria will convert these soluble compounds into organic acids that we usually uh, uh, get in the form of acetic acid. And once we get these organic acids in the second stage, the methanogenic bacteria will come over here and will convert the organic acids into methane, carbon dioxide, and water. So then we can collect this methane, carbon dioxide as a biogas, and will be further utilized domestically for fuel or energy production and electricity, etc., or it will be available commercially in the market. So there are several advantages of that of production of biogas. For example, it has been considered as a free organic manure. So as I mentioned in the overview diagram, so once we use the organic the slurry, so it could be utilized as a free organic manure that will be rich in nutrients and will be highly beneficial in agriculture sector to replace the chemical fertilizer as well. And additionally, the biogas can save lots of energy cost, because energy needs lots of finance and money to be produced. So this is one of the easiest way, and with low cost we can uh, save lots of energy. In addition, the biogas has been highly considered to be pollutant free, and it will maintain the environment clean. Additionally, the biogas could also be used to generate electricity, which has been one of the important factor that could impact the normal human life. So in addition to all these advantages, biogas technology allow quick production of biomanure, which is rich in organic substances, as I have mentioned. So uh, there are other advantages, many advantages, in which we can compare the biomanure with that of conventional manure. For example, its form of availability, nutrient balance, and high level of organic matter, which is powerful energy material for soil microorganisms. So in biomanure and the manure which has been one utilized in the production of biogas, it could be utilized as a green manure, as a organic manure. So it will be highly it will have high available nutrients and high level of organic matter that will be a very powerful energy material for soil microorganisms. So in this way we can replace the chemical fertilizer, and that will be environmental friendly as well. Thank you so much for listening. That's it for today, and we'll talk much more in our next lectures. These are some of the references which I have picked up to prepare the current slides.